This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is David Dodd. He is the chairman, CEO, and president of GeoVax Labs, Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is GOVX on NASDAQ. You can actually see David give a presentation at our upcoming investor virtual event, the SNN.Network Summer Virtual Event, happening August 17 through 19, 2021. To register and hear his presentation, please go to conference.snn.network. And with that, David, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Robert.
It's great to have you on. So we've done a number of interviews with reps from GeoVax over the years, but it's been quite a few. So rather than giving the full highlights of the last 5 years, let's start fresh. Let's update our audience on, provide a quick overview and history of the company.
Sure. First of all, I'll just very briefly say that GeoVax was founded 20 years ago this past spring. I had the opportunity to step in as the CEO 3 years ago, effective September the 1st of 2018. I've been associated with the company, however, since 2010 as an investor, as a board member, and as chairman of the board, the position I still continue with. But I really was excited to be able to step in, roll my sleeves up, and work full time with the team and move the company forward, which we've been doing. Last year, as you may know, we had a very watershed event in which we recapitalized the company, we raised capital, and we listed on NASDAQ. Today, we are debt-free. We have no toxicity associated with the company, and we're financed, estimated through the end of 2023, and that's with assumptions of increased spending. So we're very excited about moving products into the clinic over the next 12 to 18 months.
Very good. And then for those who may not be familiar with, what the company is trying to accomplish on the biotech side, what are some of the target indications, formulas, clinical pipeline? Can you give us an overview of that as well?
Certainly, and thank you. Well, we are focused on developing infectious disease vaccines as well as cancer immunotherapies. Those are the two primary areas in which we're focused. Our priority programs are our universal coronavirus vaccine, for which we have received initial funding from NIH, and we have a larger proposal we recently submitted based upon encouraging results we've seen from the animal data we've generated thus far. Within immuno-oncology, we're focused on moving forward into the clinic, but possibly by the end of next year, but certainly filing our IND and being prepared to move forward with a MACH-1 MVA-VLP. Basically, that's the technology we use. So a vaccine that will stimulate a MACH-1 tumor-associated antigen and be treated in conjunction with a checkpoint inhibitor.
David, I have to ask, because you probably get asked this all the time, especially working in infectious disease, as a small microcap company, when an infectious disease pops up, like COVID, SARS, or Ebola, you're up against these major companies that probably have much more resources to get after it right away with the vaccine. As we saw with COVID, we got Pfizer and Moderna and whatnot. So how do you approach wanting to get your vaccine onto the market as soon as possible when you're up against some of these larger players in the space?
Well, you're absolutely correct. It's infinitely larger than much bigger resources and deeper resources. Our approach, however, is to differentiate. The technology we use enables us to address, for instance, with COVID-19, additional proteins beyond simply the spike protein, which is what one sees in the Pfizer, the Moderna, even the adenovirus, the J&J and AstraZeneca. So what we've done is incorporated not only the spike protein, but also structural proteins with the goal of being able to generate a much broader both antibody as well as cellular immunity, and thereby being able to encompass variants before they emerge rather than chasing after the variants.
Very good. So as you said, I think you said you're currently in animal studies right now, and is that the primary focus right now for GeoVax as you currently sit?
That's correct. We have two programs that are our primary focus. One is the animal studies in which we're in with the universal coronavirus vaccine, and then secondly is in our immuno-oncology. Both of those are our focus to go forward with moving into the clinic. We have recently submitted, as I mentioned earlier, a larger proposal back to the NIH. They're aware of our approach. We announced in January initial funding from them, and so our approach is to develop a multivariant oriented vaccine against coronavirus, but also do that in a single dose and be able to deliver it with minimal to no refrigeration.
I have to ask one more follow-up on the COVID-19 vaccine that you guys are developing. We've seen these variants kind of mutate and take on different forms based on region or other factors out there. So how do you create a vaccine that can potentially stop getting symptoms from all these future variants that we don't even foresee yet?
Well, it's a huge challenge, but one of the opportunities we have is the platform we use enables one to encode multiple antigens or protein components, which you cannot do with mRNA or with the adenovirus. And so by studying the structure, the genetic structure, and having the history and the knowledge of what was in the first SARS and what we've learning at this point, what we've tried to do is encode a variety of structural proteins as well as the primary protein to be able to encompass what might be emerging.
Very good. All right. So as I said, we've done a number of interviews with GeoVax over the years with prior management. So, and as you said earlier, you've been involved with GeoVax for approximately 10 years now, or maybe even a little over. So what would you say is your full background? Have you had a background in healthcare and science prior to your involvement with GeoVax?
Absolutely. I've had the opportunity for the last 40 plus years to work in life sciences. I was in the past CEO of Solvay Pharmaceuticals. I was CEO of Serologicals Corporation. I was responsible for the U.S. operations and pharmaceuticals for Wyeth Ayers before it was part of Pfizer, and started my career with Abbott, and also had the opportunity to work with Bristol Myers Squibb in general management. So I've had the opportunity to frankly be able to be mentored and learn from some very tremendous, capable individuals, learn a lot of great processes, and be able to work one's career forward. And now I'm working with a small company that's now NASDAQ listed called GeoVax, but drawing upon the experience of 40 plus years of a variety of successes.
Very good. All right. So to close this out here, before I let you go, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
I think our value catalysts are going to be upcoming results that we announce, milestone results related to COVID-19. We have both within the hemorrhagic fever. We have some studies underway through non-human primates that are being supported by the federal government. That's also in Marburg and Sudan. We've already demonstrated 100% protection against the Zaire Ebola. We're doing the Sudan Ebola also. So those will be coming out in the not too distant future. And then the progress we're making within immuno-oncology. So over the next, I'll say, weeks, months, and certainly next 2 quarters, we're going to have a variety of milestone reports. I think that'll be very interesting and exciting, hopefully, for us to announce.
Very good. Well, with that, David, where can our audience go and find more information on GeoVax?
All right, thank you. Go to our website, www.geovax.com.
Very good. David, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
You too. Thank you. Appreciate it.